Hello, everyone. I'm Dana Rice, the founder of BlackArtsEducation.com, and I am here today with the amazing Aria Brooks. Hi, Aria.
Hi. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. I'm sure that so many people that are watching this have already seen you because you're like everywhere, but I'm just going to read your bio a little bit and tell people, some background information about you. Aria Brooks is a native of Atlanta. She follows her passion for performing through television and film. She loves to sing, dance, act, and write songs and stories. Her passion for singing and acting has afforded her opportunities to perform with professional theaters and sing alongside greats such as Jennifer Hudson. She started in musical theater at the age of 6, and at 10, she decided to pursue a career in on camera acting. She's since been signed to reputable agencies and is best known as a cast member on Nickelodeon's reboot of All That. Aria has also worked alongside Cynthia Erivo in the award-winning film Harriet and starred in Dolly Parton's Heartstrings on Netflix. Outside of her work in TV and film, Aria is also a recording artist, having released her single Am I Next in 2020. She continues to use her platform to speak out about social injustice and raise awareness for important issues. So, we're going to talk about all of that with Aria Brooks from the show All That. How's it going, Aria?
I'm great. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on and talk to everybody about your story and your experience. So let's jump right in. I want you to take us to the moment where you found out you were going to be on the show, Nickelodeon's All That reboot.
Well, the audition part, I had 3 auditions to do. I had like a self-tape, the very first one. I got a call back and then I had to do a screen test. And like the audition, I went through all those levels and I had to create sketch characters and read some sides or like some of the scripts. So it was really fun. And then the third audition, the screen test, I went in and it was in front of like Nickelodeon executives and all that producers and then like the president of Nickelodeon. So that was a little nerve-wracking. But I went in, it was a little scary. So and then he like created all that too. So no pressure. So I went in and I did my audition and then they told me like maybe 20 minutes after the audition, they called me back in like after the screen test and then they asked me some questions and then they said, "Do you want to be on all that?" And like so much was going through my head. It didn't feel real in the moment because I've been like working so hard for that for so long. So it was like, wait, this is finally happening. So I don't know. I was relieved and excited. I was super duper happy. Like it was just a bunch of emotions, and I started crying because I don't know. It was just really emotional. Like getting to that point finally after so much hard work, of years of hard work to get there.
Oh my goodness, that is such an amazing story. I remember when we first heard that you were, getting signed on to the show, we were like, oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Now when you did the taped audition, you were in Atlanta
Yes, I did it from.
and your callback, you were in Atlanta and
No,
then
that was in California. We flew out there for the casting directors to do the second one and for the screen test as well.
awesome sauce. Well, congratulations on that is so amazing. It's
Thank
really
you.
I remember the first time I met you, you were performing in a play, and I just remember being so captivated, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this girl, this girl is
Thank
going
you.
to be like super big." And then just one thing led to the next, and I mean, it's like it's so amazing to see you where you are right now. So yeah, always I'm a number one fan. So
Thank you so much.
Um, so let's talk about because this is blackartseducation.com. So, we're always interested to know where people get their training or how do you start out with the arts. So tell us some of your story about that.
Well, training and starting out, it was a lot of it was just trying to get as many classes as possible at like when I started off my career, taking acting classes and learning about the business because I knew I loved to do it. I loved it, but like the first couple experiences, like with auditions and stuff like that, both of them were like scams. So we were like, we
Mhm.
didn't know a whole lot about the business. I didn't know a whole lot about acting at that point. I just knew that I loved to do it. So taking classes was like finding any class in your area is very important, or at least now sometimes it's a wider range of classes that you can take because everything's like via Zoom now. But like taking as many classes as you can is very important starting out. Also, a good thing that one thing that I did that helped me a lot, I did a lot of extra work starting out. So I did like background work and like it literally me walking across the screen for 1 second, but it helped me learn what it's like to be on set, how things work, hear like the language that they use on set, like the vocabulary, that kind of stuff. So it definitely helped a lot. And it's good to have those things on your resume starting out. So that is something I would recommend a lot too, because it helped me out starting out.
Awesome. Now let's rewind back to the scams because they are out there. So
Yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna name any names, but
Right.
what did you learn about how to spot a scam?
Well, we definitely learned they should never ask you money to sign you to an agency, that you should never pay for something like that, or for an audition. Like at this point they were asking us to pay like, or not me specifically, but they wanted to get a certain amount of money, a pretty big amount of money to go to an audition or to go to competitions and stuff. But those are definitely suspicious because you shouldn't be charged for that kind of stuff. Normally, like you can make investments in your career. That's what my mom says. Like you have to make investments. Not everything's going to be handed to you and free, but it shouldn't cost a big amount of money to do things like auditions and get representation. So that's kind of how you can spot them and look out for them.
All right. So everybody that's listening and watching, hear what we're saying. You don't pay to play. I mean, you just don't do that.
Right.
It's run, don't walk if they start asking you for money up front for simple things like, you know, auditioning. I mean, you just,
Right.
like you pay for training and investing in your career, like she's saying, but if you gotta, like go get a loan to do this, walk away, walk away, right?
Yeah.
And walk away, come to blackartseducation.com and ask us to help because yes. Awesome. So, but now you didn't first start off with acting. I kind of know there's some music in your background. So,
Yes.
tell me about your learning with music first off. Who did that?
Well, music has like always been like a part of me because both of my parents they're performing arts teachers, and my dad's a band director right now. My mom was a music teacher and a band director. So like I like grew up in people's band rooms and like music classes like that. That's kind of what I grew up around. So I just loved to do it. And like one thing I remember specifically, like one of super vivid memory, I was in my mom's band room one time and I started playing like I figured out how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on, I think it was like a xylophone. I want to say that's what it was. And I just played it out, and the whole band room just stopped and they were watching me. I'm like 7 or something at this point. So it's just, I don't know. I picked it up from an early age because I was around it so much, and then I grew to love it. And I don't know, it just kind of runs in my DNA, I guess. And then the older I got, the more, and the same thing like with performing in general, I just wanted to take it seriously and I loved it so much I wanted this to be my career. So that's kind of where it started from. And then from there, I started taking actual vocal lessons and doing local theater and stuff like that to do something with it.
Yeah. So everybody who knows me knows I'm a music crazy person. So but music was kind of your door to get into the whole business of entertainment, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because that's how like my love for music got me into like my love for theater. And so I was kind of like I enjoyed acting. So I was like, oh, I can do musical theater and enjoy like both sides of it. And that kind of got me more into acting, and then dancing came with it. So although like I started with singing, it just made me love all of them so much.
I love it. So let's talk about your singing. You have a new single that recently came called My Next. And
Yes.
of course I love it, and I was actually listening to it a little bit more before you came on. But I want to talk about the lyrics because as a songwriter myself, I know that lyrics are just like really super important. Everybody kind of grabs onto the music part, the beat, the melody, and all, but as a writer, you're trying to get your message, a certain message through. through your lyrics. So I want to ask you about these lyrics and what was in your mind when you wrote them, especially the part where you says, "Will I make it out of bed? No thoughts, only bullets in my head. Walk home and I don't drip and I don't drop dead. It's not that complex." And then there's this refrain that keeps coming back that says, "We're out of our heads when we go to bed, wondering." Tell me about this song.
Well, the song writing it, it was like in the midst of just people were really preaching Black Lives Matter and everything that was happening. People were making it more known, and I was very happy about that it was getting out. But it was also very scary just knowing that something like this affects me. It affects everyone, but it could affect me. And that was just a really scary thing to think. And I didn't want to seem like negative, like, oh, it won't happen to me, but it could. And that just all these emotions were running through my head. So one day I sat down and I wrote the song. And when I was writing it, I really wanted to express and convey the fear that I felt when I heard everything that's going on in the news and stuff like that, because no one really talks as much about like, oh, I'm scared. They talk about why it's wrong, their anger, and they're passionate about it. But I think if people heard it from a different perspective, like the fear that it evokes from certain people, I think that could really get to some people. So I really wanted to have other people almost feel that same fear that I was feeling so they can understand the magnitude of what's going on. And so that's like kind of why I wrote it. And I was writing each of these lyrics, I was just expressing genuine things that I think about, like how some people wake up in the middle of the night and they're like, oh, I may not make it. And that's really, really scary. So it's just, I really wanted to express that in my song as well as the video too.
Yeah, well, you did that because I remember listening on the very first day it was released, and it just really grabbed me because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how old are you, Aria?
I'm 14.
14. Gosh, you've been growing up so fast. So, um, and I was just like, wow, she's so young to be feeling this way. But I know that, these are real feelings that, we're all feeling. As an adult, I know I feel these feelings, but as a mom, it really makes me sad to know that, our young people are, having these worries and these concerns and this anxiety. So I think that you really, gave us a strong message with this song. And so thank you for sharing your inner thoughts, because it's not easy to share what you've written from your heart. So
Thank you so much. That was definitely the goal. I'm glad came across that way.
yeah, absolutely. And everybody, the song is streaming everywhere. So anywhere you get music, you can get Am I Next by Aria. So definitely listen to it and listen to the lyrics. People, listen to the lyrics. All right. So lots of things happened for you in 2020. I mean, all that.
Yes.
And this song, but there's also a pandemic. So well, there's two. There was a racism pandemic
Right.
that never stops. But the medical pandemic, the health pandemic that is going on, how has that changed your life or your everyday list, your everyday things that you do?
Well, it definitely drastically affected it. I think it affected it in good ways and not so good ways. Of course, like all that production was suspended temporarily just until things are safer and we can figure things out with that. So just, I'm like stuck at home. And so I came back to Atlanta. I was in California when we were filming all that. So I came back to Atlanta and I've been in quarantine. I don't know, that's a word. I've been in quarantine here. I definitely think my first impression, I didn't think we would only be here 2 weeks, but I did not think we'd be here as long as we were. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take this, I guess, as a break. I'll watch some TV. This will be great at the beginning of the quarantine. And then I was like, okay, so we're going to be here a lot longer than
Hmm.
like the original plan was. So I just kind of took that and I ran with it and I wanted to start doing things to better myself and better my career and all that kind of stuff. So I started like my Ask Aria live series, and I've interviewed like different guests. Like I interviewed Tabitha Brown and Keenan Thompson. Um, so it was like a lot of fun. I interviewed a lot of really fun people. Um, and I just had a lot of fun with that. So it was just trying to stay busy, keep people busy, like on my social media and things like that. It did positively affect me, like I said, because like I hit 10K on Instagram and TikTok this quarantine. I was verified on Instagram and TikTok. So just a lot of good stuff has happened for me.
Yeah, I love your outlook on it because I experienced it a similar way. Like in the beginning, like, oh, okay, we're gonna take a few days off, and then it just 1 month turned into 10. It's just like
Right.
going on. It's like 5 years later, we're still in this. It feels like 5 or 10 years later.
Yes.
Every month seemed like a whole year or something. But what you're doing and what you have done is, the beauty of being a creative person. You're like, okay, I take the current situation that I'm in and I create something that works for me while I'm in
Right.
this situation. So kudos to you. I hope
Thank
people
you.
who are watching really, follow this girl. I mean, she's wise, okay? She's not just, somebody that's
Thank you.
entertaining us. She's thinking. I love it. I love it. I love it. So
Thank you.
if you were in charge, how would you fix things related to the pandemic?
Okay, if I was in charge, let me think. I'd probably make sure I'm focused on like the people and helping out everybody as opposed to just a specific group of people. I'm not gonna call out any names or anything or be too specific. But just helping out everybody and making sure everyone is catered to, because there's a lot of people who like aren't as fortunate as others. So not everyone has a roof over their heads right now, and not everyone's protected with everything going on. So making sure it's not just about the people who happen to have a whole bunch of money or have enough money to do certain things and protect themselves, making sure that everyone's protected, because I think that's very important. It shouldn't be focusing on specific people. It should be focusing on everybody, all people.
I love it. You got my vote. We're signing up right now. Sign me
Thank
up.
you.
Okay, so I want to ask you some fun questions. You've seen those memes that go around with a bunch of pictures and it says one has to go. Which
Oh,
one?
I've seen those a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna do just a few, maybe like 4 or 5 of them. So I'm
Okay.
gonna ask you, give you the choice, and you tell me what you're throwing away. Okay?
Okay.
Chicken, burgers, taco, or pizza.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say taco, even though I love tacos.
No tacos for us. All right, tacos are out of here. Okay, a
Okay.
fork or a spoon.
Ooh, we can get rid of a fork because a spoon you can like do the things that you can do with a fork as well as like it. You can make it work, I guess, with a
Yeah,
spoon.
you can't eat soup with a fork, huh?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cell phone, laptop, or tablet.
I don't have a tablet, so I'll get rid of tablet.
Okay, bye bye tablets. Okay, popcorn, candy, or potato chips.
Ooh, okay, we can get rid of maybe popcorn. We can get wait, no. Get rid of chips. Get rid of chips.
I'm like, what we gonna eat? We go to the movies, got popcorn. We're getting rid of the chips. All right, I want to keep them all, but we can only keep one.
Yeah.
Okay, last one: pictures, words, or sounds.
Oh. Okay. Well, sounds are saying. Pictures of word. Oh, pictures, words, or sound. We can get rid of picture. Oh, we can get rid of pictures, I guess.
Pictures.
I don't
Hmm.
know, because words are important. Words are like I couldn't write songs without words. I couldn't write scripts without words. Words are very important.
Okay, and we can make pictures out of words, huh?
Right?
Okay.
We could make a word picture, visualize it. So I we'll get rid of pictures. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if I get rid of all the pictures, that'll be like, let's see how many pictures on my phone. There's like,
A ton.
oh,
Right.
it's insane. Let's see. It's not showing it to me right now, but there's like 20,000 pictures on this.
Oh.
On this. Oh, no, seriously, 16,000 pictures are on this.
Oh my goodness.
I need help, y'all.
Well, I'll help you out. We'll get rid of the pictures then.
Ah, okay. So a little birdie told me that you like to do accents. Uh yeah, so can you tell us like I want you can you I'm putting you on the spot now. Could you like
Okay.
do like an accent that you'd love to be able to, do in a show or something?
Okay. One that I do use a lot is like the British accent. I use that one quite a bit actually. I like walk around the house and no one can ever take me seriously. It's like so I'll like be walking with my mom downstairs, and like she'll say something and I'll respond in a British accent and she'll be like, I can't take you seriously. I'm like, I'm serious. I seriously mean what I'm saying. So I can work on it. But yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. And I'd love to like get a lot more help on that one and use it in a show or something.
Oh my goodness, girl, you are off the chain. Well, everybody, casting people, if whoever's watching that has a project coming up, there's your British accent person right there. Okay, so tell us what's next for you, music wise.
Well, right now I've been working on an album that'll be my debut album that I'll be releasing this year, and I'm super excited about that. So we're getting songs recorded right now, and we're in that process. So it will be coming out this year. That's what's next for me. That's my biggest project coming up.
Awesome, congratulations! Well, can't
Thank you.
you hear the album when it comes out. Any I know you gave us some advice earlier about those scams, stay away from that stuff,
Yes.
and some other things, but one more piece of advice for like people
I
of all ages,
I guess I could say my biggest advice is to just kind of go for it and take the opportunities that you can get. I say this quite a bit actually. So like if you want to be an actor or a singer or a dancer, whatever it is, like take those jobs and take the opportunities within reason. Like if it goes against certain morals or something that you're completely against, you don't have to go through with something like that. But take different opportunities because they all help you. They get you experience. You get to meet, like you find connections. Like all those things are very important to succeed. So just take the different opportunities that you get, seize your moment. Yeah, that's the biggest advice I could give.
I think it's great advice. Seize the moment, everybody. Take the opportunities. Okay. You don't say no when you can say yes. I be right. So tell everybody where they can see you, find you, follow you, all that.
Well, on all like social media at it's Aria Brooks. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Like you can find me anywhere to keep up with me. Yeah.
It's Aria Brooks, ladies and gentlemen. She keeps it very simple, so you don't have to worry about the dashes and the dots and all that. It's Aria Brooks, all right? And that's the way we love it. Thank you so much for talking to us today, Aria. Congratulations and many, many more successes to you.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
And
Thank
what
you.
does that mean to us? We're out of our heads when we go to bed wondering.